Warning, we will be talking about the eradication of cute furry little animals in this video. Please exit now if you are sensitive. Hey everybody, Boots in the Roots here with another quick practical tip for your small farm or garden without all the chit chat and giggling. I'm going to be talking about some of the tricks and tips that I've learned for trapping gophers. It's a sensitive subject, I get it. Some people don't like to get rid of them, and if you have a big enough area where they're not doing much damage, you know, that may be fine. We certainly don't want to kill them here, but when you have valuable plants that are meant to make you money, when you have animals like horses that can break through the ground and injure themselves. We've actually had that happen where one of our horses stepped through and injured her leg. When you have that stuff happening, you just have to deal with them. So it's unfortunate, but it's one of the things you have to do sometimes. So we have had some success and some failures trapping gophers over the years. And then we hired a professional trapper who also taught me how to do it, what type of equipment to use, little tips and tricks. None of it's 100%, as you just sometimes don't know what they're going to do underground, and they don't react the way you think they should react. But let's go over some of the things here that may help you. I know there's a million videos on YouTube about trapping, including videos from the company that makes the traps that I prefer, but hey, they also might have a lot of chit chat and giggling on there, so stay here and let's get right to it. So you're walking around your garden and then you see the telltale like horseshoe. It makes like kind of like a horseshoe, and there'll be a trap door, or they'll call it a plug in the middle. So I've taken the liberty to excavate a bit of a tunnel system here so you can see what it looks like. So this would be their exit where they're pushing the dirt out. And they don't like to leave the tunnels open, so they are coming towards this direction and pushing that dirt out, and then they'll plug the hole and head back in. So what you're going to be doing, I've got a automotive pry bar here, and these tunnels will be anywhere from 6 to 12 inches deep. They've done studies, and I think the deepest they really have ever found them is about 24 inches. They can do a tunnel that goes down to a nest, and that can be as deep as 6 feet. That's where the little babies are born, and then they will head out, find their own little territory. And the studies that they have done at the university system around here is that there'll be one gopher per every 200 square feet up to 2,000 square feet. They are solitary, so they're not like mice. They're not hundreds of them running around. It's going to be one gopher in that 200 to 2,000 square foot area. So if you see a mound, say over there, very likely that that's the same gopher here. Also over there, there's some more mounds. Okay, don't expect to trap 3 gophers. Once you get the one, this area is probably going to be clear for quite a while. We have trapped here with great success and pretty much eradicated gophers for around 5 or 6 months. But they're always coming in from the perimeters, so you have to keep on it. But once you get them out of your garden area or your yard, all you got to do is keep watching the perimeter areas. And when you start seeing them there, trap them on the outside edges of your property. Keep them from coming in. So, like you may have seen, on other videos, you dig down in with this tool, and one of the beginner mistakes is to go into here. You feel the opening, and then you stick a trap right here. You come back a day or 2 later, maybe even a couple hours later, and the trap can be pushed all the way out, or it'll be plugged with dirt. And you're thinking, wow, smart gopher, they knew to plug that. Well, no, they're just pushing the dirt ahead of themselves, and it just winds up getting into the trap. So what you have to do is go in far enough, and your tool is going to feel like it hits a wall. It's not a dead end. Turn your tool and it's going to go left. It may go back sharp left, it may go sharp right, or come back at an angle this way. But you go in, that's the wall of the main tunnel. This is where you want to lay a trap in. You can see the tunnel goes off into that direction and over to those other mounds. Goes off over here. And here's something else to show you, is that this one came out and he left this hole open. Now, they don't like to leave it open, but they will sometimes, especially if they've plugged the tunnel somewhere in another location. They won't bother to come back and plug it right at the surface. This was probably plugged somewhere else in here. But this is I think they call it like a feeder hole. So when there's one with no dirt, this is a hole where they come out, usually at night, and they'll eat food. On the surface, they will only travel a short distance away. They'll eat and then they'll dive back in. So when you see these feeder holes here, unfortunately, it's easy to get a trap in there and you think, oh, this is going to be great. But oftentimes, they've just plugged that hole further down. So you can try trapping in there, but ideally you're going to find one of the dirt excavation holes and go in and find the main tunnel here. Let's take a look at an active trapping site here. So over here, it's a little hard to tell with the shading of the light, but this was the horseshoe. Maybe see it a little better like that. So came in with the automotive pry bar, and usually go down kind of at a 45-degree angle, and it'll pop through. You can feel it go through, and it just keeps showing, and oh, there's, you hit the wall. So again, if you're in a hurry, you can try putting a trap here. Good chance it'll just get backfilled. So you just pop this up, or I also like to use these small shovels here, and once you find a hole, you got to pop this up big enough so you can get your trap in. And you're gonna almost always find the tunnel going both directions. And you can see here, got a trap in there, got one here ready to go in. It's set. This is a trap line Mole Max. They're stainless steel. They're made here in California. I encourage you to try all the different kinds of traps out there. We have very tiny gophers here. I guess they are called pocket gophers. And the bigger traps just don't work. And this is the only trap we've really been successful with. I've caught gophers on all the other traps, but not to the degree that these have worked. Again, trap line. This is Mole Max. I'll go over setting these in another video, but we're going to stick this in here, and you got to have the hole big enough so you don't trip it. And then we have a stainless steel wire with a loop on the end there, and I stick 2 warning flags in, lets me know there's 2 traps in the holes, and then put a landscaping staple in there. The reason we do that is that often if you just catch a leg of the gopher, they can drag it down the tunnel, and then you lose the trap. So I was told that gophers are hemophiliacs, so if they get injured, they will bleed to death. So unfortunately, would not be a clean kill, but there's really no way around that, again, unless you're going to leave them or try to trap them and release them. This is just the nature of the thing here. So you have this set up. Now you can leave it open and see what happens, or you can try to plug it, cover it with something. And there's 2 different thoughts. One is that gophers do not like to sense that air pressure, that a hole is open, because a predator like a fox will be able to scent them. Our dogs actually can scent in a hole and figure out which hole is active. So the gophers will come back and plug a hole that you just opened. Or some people say, no, you should cover them, or cover all this back over, so that they will use the tunnel not suspecting that somebody has dug it up. So usually what happens is we trap here, and the fox will come along and smell the gophers whether we've covered this or not, and they'll dig it up and they'll eat the gopher off the trap. So probably the last 15 gophers we've trapped, I maybe had to actually dispose of 2 or 3 of them. So the fox is pretty good at helping us out, but the fox will drag the traps off if they don't feel safe eating them right there. So this is why you need the staple as well, to keep the fox from taking your expensive traps. So again, it can still be hit or miss. It's not 100% you're going to get them. Try whatever traps you like. Like I say, I've tried pretty much all of them. Ones on a stick, ones that look like this, and you would stick these against the tunnel like this and cover this back over. I've not had a lot of success with these. There's other kinds like that that are square shape. Same thing, you dig it up, you put one each direction, but unfortunately you do have to dig up a lot of your yard to get those in. I'm not concerned out here. This is just one of our garden rows, and I'll just fill this back in when we are done trapping here. So start looking for your telltale horseshoe dirt mounds. Practice going in with your tool, not straight down, but generally at about a 45-degree, 30-degree angle to the ground. Go in until you hit a wall. Now you may not, but you definitely want to make sure that you're in far enough away from where they're pushing that dirt through. Do not put too many traps in one area. You can spook them and they will leave the area. So if you, a 2,000 square foot area is basically a 50-foot diameter circle. So that's about the max range of one gopher according to that university study. So you do not need to be putting a trap in every single mound you see. So if you have a 50-foot circle, that's one gopher, maybe one or two traps only. Pick the best ones that look like the dirt is fresh, like it was just pushed out. That's going to be your most likely good spot to put a trap in. Gophers don't drink water, they get it from their plants. So if there's underground water feeding plant roots, they're going to gravitate to areas that have the most wet ground. It's also the easiest digging. So get 2 or 3 traps out at the most in a 50-foot area. Even one is just fine. Once you have trapped in those areas and were successful or not, just kick over or rake over the mounds so that you know those were ones you've already worked on, and then you can easily see when there's new activity. What do you think, Oscar? I hope those gopher tips helped you out. If you have any questions, put in the comment below, and we will see you next time.